In today's real budget breakdown, we are taking a look at an actual budget from a family of 6 who lives in Virginia and they make $55,000 a year. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel we talk about life and money and how you can enjoy life while still accomplishing financial goals through the use of a budget, which is why I love budgeting. And I've started a new series here on my channel sharing real budget breakdowns, sharing the budgets that you guys have been submitting as my subscribers. This is only the second video in this series and the first one was a hit. It seems like you guys are very interested to see how others are spending their money, which I can totally relate to. So I'm excited to continue sharing with this series. If you want to share your household budget and have it maybe featured on my channel, I will have a link to the form that you can fill out in the description box down below so you could submit your budget. And I also want to let you know that I will be showing you this budget in my budget template in Excel. I will have a link to that in the description box down below. If you haven't gotten started with budgeting yet, you can pick up this template. It's an instant download, works in Excel, Google Sheets, numbers, all the things, so you can get started with budgeting. And before we hop into this budget breakdown, I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, and I will share a couple things that I would do differently if this were me and my budget. And I also hope that we can all treat each other with kindness with this series, and you can share positive comments for these people who are choosing to share their budget publicly. I will not share their names, it's all anonymous, but let's all just share some support for one another. So you can leave them some encouragement in the comments below. I'm sure they'd love to hear that. So let's talk about the details of this family's situation before we look at the numbers. They are a family of 6, so it's a husband, a wife, and 4 kids. They live in Virginia and they make $55,000 a year. The husband is a teacher / content creator, so it sounds like he has kind of his own side business, side hustle going on. And then the mom is a stay-at-home mom, which has to be pretty busy when you have 4 kids. So their goal right now is to pay off $4,000 of student loans and also build up their savings. So we're going to see how that looks in their budget. So without further ado, let's take a look at this budget breakdown for a family of 6 living off of $55,000 in Virginia. So the first thing that we have here is the income section. So I have this teacher salary at $2,400 and then the content creator income at about $500 each month. Now they did indicate that their monthly take-home pay varied between $2,400 to $3,400 a month. So I just took an average and did $2,900 between the teacher salary and the content creator income. I assume that this varies, likely due to being a content creator. That's what I do here on the internet, and it definitely has high months and low months. So I understand why that may fluctuate a bit. So we're just gonna kind of look at an average and see what that would look like for the additional expenses that they shared. But as a grand total, then their total income is $2,900 this month. Okay, now taking a look at expenses. So this is a zero-based budget, which means all of the income should equal all of the expenses and savings and debts, like all the money out. So everything should add up to $2,900. So let's take a look. So the first thing that they have here is giving. They give $240 a month, which is great. And next they have is mortgage. So this is $850 a month for their mortgage. That makes up 29% of their take home, which I feel like that isn't too bad. I like to keep this number maybe closer to like 25% of take home, but I think between 25 to 30%, like no more than 30%, would be most ideal. So maybe it's a little bit high, but not too bad. Next we have is utilities, and that is at $315 a month. So I assume that this is for things like internet, trash, water, electricity, natural gas if they have it, like all those sorts of things. So $315, which is about 10% of their income. And next we have is insurance. Maybe this is car insurance at $133. If they have health insurance, maybe that's paid for out of the husband's teacher's paycheck, like before his take-home pay. I did not receive all that information, but I assume that maybe this is car insurance. Next we have is groceries, and they have budgeted here at $1,200 a month for groceries. This is a bit high, so this makes up 41% of their income, but I also understand that they have a family of 6 people in their household, so that is a lot of people to feed. So we'll talk more about this in a little bit. Next we have is gas, so obviously you need to be able to drive around, have some sort of transportation, so $120 a month for gas. And then clothing at $75 a month. I assume if you are clothing 6 people, especially 4 kids who are growing all the time, then yeah, you're definitely going to need to spend some money on clothing each month. So $75 they have there. Subscriptions they have at $60 in subscriptions. I'm not sure what exactly all these subscriptions are, but this is a great reminder that subscriptions really do add up. And I try to have as few subscriptions as possible. A lot of times they don't even get used every month, so just something to be aware of. At $60 for subscriptions. And then miscellaneous they have at $100. So that's always good to have a miscellaneous category because there's always like something random that comes up during the month. So as a total for all their expenses, they have $3,093 in normal expenses. So the next section that they have here is debt, because they did say that they were working on paying off a $4,000 student loan. We're going to come back to this, but as you can see, I put the beginning balance in here at $4,000, but we'll come back to debt in a little bit. Next we have is savings, so any sort of sinking funds or things that they're saving for. They did indicate that they have a $4,000 emergency fund, so that is input in here as well, but they're not adding to it right now. Well, one of their goals is to increase savings, so hopefully they can do that soon, but for right now it's just at $4,000. Then they said that they put an extra $100 in as a buffer. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I don't include like a buffer line item in my budget. Oftentimes that just seems to be like miscellaneous for us, is like that extra buffer that we're going to spend money somewhere that we weren't planning on, but they do have an extra $100 buffer line item. So I want to take a look down here at the bottom. So the total out, so this is calculating the normal expenses, the debt, and the savings, ends up being $3,193, and that ends up being more than the income. As you can see, this difference should be zero line item shows that they are over by $293. So like I shared at the beginning, their income definitely fluctuates. Sometimes it could be $2,400, sometimes up to $34. So that's going to vary depending on the month. But here, it shows that they're spending more money than they're making. So if this were me, here's how I would adjust my budget and things that I would do to make this budget work. So first off, let's talk about groceries. $1,200, even for a family of 6, maybe a little high. I know they don't have any eating out in here, so maybe that's included in that, but I feel like eating out should be pretty minimal here. So I like a rule of groceries to be like $150 per person per month in the household. And for my family of 3, which my son is only 14 months, but still it seems like he eats a lot of food now, we actually are able to stick to even less than that for our groceries. So instead of $1,200, I would maybe do, so 150 times 6 people, have it be $900. And right there, if they're able to get that to $900, then they have a positive $7 balance here. So they're able to cover all of their expenses in the month. So if this were me, I would also take a look at subscriptions and see if there was anything that I wasn't using or something that we just don't need, and maybe we could cut something out of here too. So maybe we say we can make it down to $30 a month. I know that some people may look at this giving line item and wonder why they would want to be giving money if like this budget was so tight, and I understand that as well. I will say that for myself and my husband Jacob, like, we're Christians and we believe in giving and tithing to our church and other organizations, and we did this even from the beginning of our marriage when we were making $66,000 a year and we were working on paying off $87,000 of debt. We still were giving to our church, and that was always something important to us. So I assume that this is probably something that's also important to this family. So I'm not going to say that they shouldn't be giving or that they should change this. But I do recognize that this is like a bigger thing that they have in their budget. But I know that for me and my husband, we still gave even when we didn't have much, and I'm glad that we did that. I don't have any regrets in that. But I think that that's going to be up to every family individually and what they want to do, and especially when it comes to religious reasons. So I'm not going to touch the giving line item if any of you guys were wondering. So another thing that I may suggest is finding additional ways to make more money. So I know that the husband is working on his side hustle of being a content creator, but I wonder if there's something else that the mom could do, maybe like at night or once kids are down for naps. I'm not sure how old the kids are, but even finding something that she could do to make like an extra $300 a month could be really helpful and impactful for this family's budget. whether that's starting an Etsy shop business or delivering with DoorDash or Uber Eats, or even teaching English online. Like, I think that there are many money-making opportunities that stay-at-home moms can do from home. I consider myself kind of a stay-at-home mom and work-from-home mom, as I am currently filming this video when my son is down for his nap, and I'm able to find time to work when he's asleep. Mind you, I have one child and not four, so I can't imagine. I know she's so busy just keeping up with 4 kids, but if she could find something to do to maybe bring in $200 or $300 a month, that could be so substantial. In cases like this, there's really only so many things you can do to cut money out of the budget, and oftentimes the answer is additional income. So let's say that she could bring home another $300 a month. Then bumping this up to $3,200, now they have $337 left over, and they could put that to their student loan. So one thing that we also didn't mention is with a student loan, I'm not sure what the minimum payment is, but it is so important to be paying that minimum payment every month. So I'd love to be able to find other ways that we can bring in additional income or cut other expenses that we can make sure that that minimum payment is being covered. So I just want to show real fast with this budget template in the debt section. So if you enter the actual amount that was contributed to the debt, and then you also input the ending balance, then you can see how much you're paying in interest for that month based on the beginning month balance, what you actually paid, and then what the ending balance ended up being. So that's a way to calculate that. And then also in the savings items, I want to show you guys this real fast. If you input the beginning balance here, so if it's for like $4,000 in the beginning balance, and then let's say you put an extra 100, then it'll calculate that to show your new ending balance for the month as well. So that is a real budget breakdown for a family of 6 living off of $55,000 a year in Virginia. I want to thank this family so much for submitting their budget and being willing to share it publicly here on YouTube. And why don't you leave them a comment down below, send them some love and some budgeting encouragement. And again, if you want to share your budget on my channel, then you can fill out the form that I'll have linked in the description box down below, as well as my budget template if you want to get started with budgeting. So thanks so much for hanging out for this real budget breakdown, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.